the narcissist, or the shape we give to the one who hurt us. The term narcissist has taken on a strange and swollen life in recent years. It was once a psychiatric label, rare, reserved, clinical. Narcissistic personality disorder, NPD, described an entrenched pattern of behavior, grandiosity, a need for admiration, a lack of empathy. But now it's a meme. It's a shout, a sword, a way to name your ex, a way to make sense of chaos, betrayal, heartbreak. She cheated? Narcissist. He ghosted you? Narcissist. They played games with your heart? Must be a narcissist. But here's the thing. When a word is used to name everything that hurts, it starts meaning nothing at all. Still, that doesn't mean there's no truth inside it. There's a reason this word sticks. Because narcissism at its root isn't just about grandstanding or vanity. It's about manipulation, projection, control, the reshaping of another's reality in order to preserve one's own illusion. In that sense, the post rings true. But we have to be careful. Naming someone a narcissist is not a neutral act. It's not the same as saying they were mean or confused. It is to say, they live in a self-protective delusion so thick they no longer care if they harm you. And maybe that's what happened. 2. The accusation reversal, gaslight, and guilt. The post describes a particular psychological maneuver, and it's a real one. Here's how it works. You're accused of being jealous, not because you are, but because she needs you to look like the problem. She may be cheating, lying, sneaking around, and yet she insists you are the one destroying the relationship because you can't trust her. That is called projection. But deeper still, it's weaponized vulnerability. Because now, you're not just in pain, you're made to feel ashamed for being in pain. You cry out and she says, "See? You're the problem. You're insecure." You notice a crack in the glass, and she says, "You're paranoid. You always ruin things." What's so damaging here isn't just the betrayal. It's the self-doubt it breeds in you. You start to wonder, am I crazy? Am I overthinking? Am I the toxic one? If you've never been inside that spiral, you might think it's simple. Just leave. But if you have been inside it, you know, it's like trying to escape a maze that builds itself behind you as you run. 3. Why she thrives and what that word means. The post says, she thrives on breaking down a powerful man. That's a heavy sentence. Because what does it mean to thrive on destruction? Is she a villain? A predator? Or is she, and this is harder to admit, a wounded child running the same script she was raised with? Now don't get me wrong. I'm not excusing her. If you're breaking someone on purpose, you are not innocent. But I do want to dig deeper. Because no one wakes up one day and decides, I want to erode someone's trust, cheat on them, and then shame them for noticing. That's not a plan. That's a defense mechanism gone unchecked for years. People who manipulate like this, male or female, often come from backgrounds where survival meant control. Where love was not a gift but a game. Where closeness was dangerous, and so dominance became the only safety. So yes, she thrives on control. But maybe it's because she doesn't know what love without control looks like. That doesn't mean you should stay. But it might mean you stop asking her to become something she was never taught to be. 4. Why the powerful man breaks hardest. Let's talk about this powerful man the post describes. Why does she target him? Because strength without inner clarity is easy to twist. Because a man who is used to standing tall in the world, in business, in battle, in life, often doesn't expect his heart to be the battlefield. He's armored for the outside, but unguarded within. And when someone begins to rewire your sense of reality from the inside, when love becomes conditional and pain gets dressed up as passion, it doesn't matter how strong your shoulders are. You will kneel. The powerful man breaks hardest, not because he is weak, but because he is unused to being broken. And when it finally happens, he doesn't know what to do with the pieces. Insecurity and jealousy, or just intuition. One of the most sinister tricks a manipulator plays is the recasting of intuition as jealousy. You feel something is off. You notice the late nights, the phone turned face down, the evasive answers. You bring it up, calmly at first, and she says, "Wow, You're so jealous. You're always so insecure. Suddenly, the conversation isn't about her behavior anymore. It's about your flaws, your instability, your control issues. This is how emotional gaslighting works. It turns your healthy doubt into a weapon against you. But let me say this as clearly as I can. Not all jealousy is wrong. Sometimes what you're feeling isn't possessiveness. It's pattern recognition. If your gut is sounding an alarm, it's not always because you're broken. It might be because you're finally seeing clearly. 6. But, and this is important, not every woman who hurts you is a narcissist. I want to slow down here. Take a breath. Not every woman who cheats is a narcissist. Not every woman who argues is manipulating you. Not every broken relationship is evidence of abuse. Sometimes people lie out of fear. Sometimes they cheat out of weakness. Sometimes they lash out because they're overwhelmed. And while that doesn't make the pain any less real, it does ask us to be honest about what labels we use and why. The word narcissist is powerful, but it's not a catch-all. If you start applying it to every woman who hurt you, you run the risk of building your own false world. One where you are always the victim and never the one who needs to grow. Some men get so wounded, they start seeing every woman as a threat, every tear as a trick, every apology as a tactic, and that is its own kind of prison. 7. The real danger, when you start to believe the lie. The worst part of being with someone like this, the kind of person described in the post, is not the lying. It's what the lies do to you. You begin to question your perception. You start filtering your instincts through her story. You learn to distrust your own heart. You go silent. You go numb. You start saying things like, maybe I am too sensitive. Maybe I do overreact. Maybe I'm not good enough for her. And that right there is the poison. Not the cheating. Not the fights. The poison is the erosion of self. 8. What comes next? The healing is in the rebuilding. If you've been through something like this, I want to say something plainly. You are not crazy. What happened to you was real, and it wasn't your fault. But, and this is the hard part, it's your responsibility now. Your responsibility to rebuild your sense of truth. Your responsibility to untangle pain from meaning. Your responsibility to not carry her voice in your head forever. Healing isn't about finding someone who finally treats you right. Healing is about remembering how to treat yourself right, even when no one else is watching. 9. Final words, and a return to the post. That Facebook post? It's raw. It's angry. It's probably written by someone who's still bleeding. But even in its bitterness, it carries a truth that needs to be spoken. Yes, there are people out there, women included, who weaponize trust, distort love, and dismantle their partners to preserve their illusion of control. And yes, some of them smile while they do it. But that is not the end of the story. Because you get to choose what happens next. You get to choose whether that pain becomes your prison or your teacher. You get to choose whether to close off forever or to sharpen your heart and open it again, this time with clarity. The pain was real. So is the path forward. Choose it before she rewrites your story for good.